selection and committed to quality customer service.
I wake to the daylight, it's my morning in Augusta. Love to see your smiling faces, and it's 3, 2, 1. Something about the morning makes you feel good now. You know that I love you. Good morning, Augusta. Something about the first light makes everything go right. Let's see where it takes us. Good morning, Augusta.
Fly direct to Washington, D.C. from Augusta Regional Airport. The Live Viper 6 Skyview Network, sponsored by Terry Lambert Hyundai.
Well, Viper 6 alert still continues for today for the heat. We have ourselves a heat advisory in effect for parts of the CSRA until 10 o'clock. The good news is, big changes on the way tomorrow. Full forecast for that.
Right now on News Channel 6 at 4, high bacteria levels, the danger of heat on local lakes and springs.
And when will the restrooms at Diamond Lakes reopen? We have an update on renovations at the facility.
And a special program to help young people get on the right path. We'll tell you about that. Success stories there as your news at 4 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF News Channel 6 at 4.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Means.
And I'm Jenny Montgomery. Thank you for joining us. Coverage you can count on begins with the possibility of some areas seeing record-breaking temperatures.
And because of that,
Heat headed our way by the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Jenny, Brent.
all right, Tim, thanks. And this extreme heat may send people outside to enjoy the water.
But there's one popular lake you may want to stay away from for now. News Channel 6's Renata Dubose joins us live at Lake Homestead with an alert.
There is an increasing amount of potentially dangerous bacteria here, so much that the Savannah Riverkeeper's office says it's 5 times the limit. Now, a water quality alert went out on Friday after a sample was collected and tested. The results show the bacteria, E. coli, is so high it's not safe for recreation. While some may recall warnings from a recent incident where a rare brain-eating bacteria caused a death, the Riverkeeper's office says this is something not related to weather alone.
It seems like this is a point source, possibly a sewage break or, another source somewhere, but it's just concerning because the level keeps rising week to week.
Truck Carlson says the water quality was tested earlier today and the results should be in 24 hours. Live in Augusta, Renata Dubose, WJBF News Channel 6. Back to you.
A teenager is in the hospital tonight after an accident in Columbia County. This one happening at Riverwood Parkway, at General Wood Parkway. The sheriff's office says 2 teenagers were on their way to Greenbrier High School this morning when the wreck happened. An adult was also in the vehicle. A 15-year-old is in the hospital. School counselors are going to be available for students and staff there at Greenbrier. Aiken will soon be home to a new alternative for juvenile offenders. Tiffany Hobbs here now to tell us about the program and how it promotes positive youth development.
A grant from the Annie E. Casey Foundation makes South Carolina the 40th state in the country to launch the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative. The South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice serves as the lead agency that will improve outcomes for young people in the state. Leaders in the South Carolina DJJ chose Charleston and Aiken to pilot the program. While accountability will remain a priority, they tell us their goal is to provide positive alternatives to going to jail, especially for young people with minor offenses. The program is expected to be statewide in 3 to 4 years.
So sometimes you get into a little trouble. Nobody's perfect. Nobody wants you to be perfect, but we want you to understand that if you are in trouble and if there's a way for us to assist you in the community that you're in, we want to be that help.
The JDAI pilot program in Aiken is expected to go live in late September. For more information about the JDAI or to get in contact with a specialist, you can visit us at WJBF.com. Back to you, Jenny. Thanks, Tiffany. The Aiken mayoral runoff is underway.
Join Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia for the 4th annual S'morevivor on Saturday, September 9th. Events include a 5K trail run, team challenges, and more. Sign up for a day of fun and team building at s'morevivor.itsyourrace.com.
Doctors say there are other benefits to sports besides being a great way for kids to stay active. Carolyn Murray has more.
You're trying to figure out how to solve problems, how to work together, sometimes managing the frustrations that come with not everybody doing what you want, when you want them to do it, managing whether your team is successful or not, dealing with loss.
And besides that, sports can also help a child make new friends, build their confidence, and learn responsibility. However, that may not be the case for everyone. Dr. Sacco says it really depends on your child's personality. If they have anxiety, they might not enjoy a sport where the coaches could be yelling or there's a lot of pressure. And speaking of pressure, he says if your child is trying a new sport for the first time, you may want to consider a rec league. The seasons are generally shorter and most of the players have the same skill level, which can make it less intimidating.
So I would definitely start there, because if you thrust a young person into a new sport and if it's not their thing, there are other pieces and parts to it that may not be working, then you are much more likely to face the challenge of a child in particular wanting to quit prematurely.
When it comes to preventing illnesses, medical professionals say we've learned a lot from the pandemic. According to the Pediatric Associates of Franklin, taking COVID out of the mix, the most common back-to-school illnesses are pink eye, the common cold, seasonal flu, and strep throat. Doctors recommend washing your hands for at least 20 seconds to help limit your exposure to illness. That's enough time to sing happy birthday to yourself twice.
I think the biggest thing we've learned is the importance, again, of personal hygiene. Just washing your hands, coughing into your arm or coughing into a tissue, sneezing into a tissue, and then washing your hands immediately after.
Other tips include not touching your eyes or face after touching objects and sharing water bottles in school lunches. Don't do that. But if your child does get sick, schools recommend keeping them home.
Another hot day across the
Into the next week, significantly cooler and maybe significantly wetter. We'll have to watch the tropics as well very closely next week.
Thank you, Tim. Oh, to be young and free-falling.
Coming up, a Colorado woman shows she is not nervous at all about jumping from a plane at 10,000 feet. An 84-year-old woman from Colorado isn't going to spend the rest of her days sitting around. She's planning to spend a lot of them falling, free falling to be exact. Kim Noor is approaching her 600th dive. She hopes to reach 1,000 in her lifetime.
Wow, she first jumped out of an airplane in 1959 and eventually met her husband that way. She was inducted into the International Skydiving Hall of Fame in 2013 when she was 74.
There is more coverage you can count on coming up on News Channel 6.
Including the allies of former President Donald Trump now turning themselves in Georgia, accused of attempting to reverse the state's 2020 election. Stay with us.
Call me right now. Make this the summer event in Waynesboro.
2.9% financing available.
New Ram Bighorns and Laramies, 2.9% APR, up to 72 months. Good to go, Waynesboro.com.
The all big city selection with hometown prices.
Plus, every pre-owned vehicle is backed by J.D. Power's Platinum Warranty.
Choose the exact vehicle you want and we'll deliver it within 500 miles. Take a short drive on Highway 25 to save time and money.
The live Vipers see what's headed our way. I'll dive into all of that in just a few minutes. Jenny Brand.
All right, Tim, thanks. Aiken is soon going to be home to a new alternative for juvenile offenders.
Tiffany Hobbs tells us about the program and how it promotes positive youth development.
So sometimes you get into a little trouble. Nobody's perfect. Nobody wants you to be perfect, but we want you to understand that if you are in trouble and if there's a way for us to assist you in the community that you're in, we want to be that help.
The GDAI pilot program in Aiken is expected to go live in late September. For more information about the GDAI or to get in contact with the specialist, you can visit us at WJBF.com. Brad.
Tiffany Hobbs, thank you. Today, Aiken voters are at the polls to count. The winner runs unopposed in November's general election.
This extreme heat may send people outside to enjoy the water, but there's one popular lake you may want to stay away from for now. News Channel 6's Renetta Dubose joins us live at Lake Homestead with an alert. Renetta?
There's an increasing amount of potentially dangerous bacteria here, so much that the Savannah Riverkeeper's office says it's about 5 times the amount. Now, the water quality alert went out on Friday after a sample was collected and tested. The results show the bacteria E. coli is so high it's not safe for recreation. While some may recall warnings from a recent incident where a rare brain-eating bacteria caused a death, the Riverkeeper's office says this is something not related to weather alone.
It seems like this is a point source, possibly a sewage break or, another source somewhere, but it's just concerning because the level keeps rising week to week.
Now, Carlson says that a test was done this morning and the results should be in within the day. Live in Augusta, Renetta Dubose, WJBF News Channel 6.
Big changes on the way at Diamond Lakes. After months, the bathrooms look to finally be getting back in business. Our senior reporter George Escala tells us for the city, this is just in time.
At Diamond Lakes, it's been a long, hot summer for visitors.
It's been a bad situation without the bathroom. You have to go use the porta john, and you want to be kind of think about your hygiene when you're going in them porta johns.
The restrooms at Diamond Lakes are out of commission for the complete renovation of the park's 2 scoring towers. The towers have been plagued by leaks caused by stormwater for more than a decade, even after more than $500,000 in repairs. In February, commissioners approved another $850,000 to finally fix the issues.
We had about 20 drains on each side that had pipes that ran through the building. We have since changed all that piping out, so everything throughout the building is brand new drains. So it seemed like a lot for what was already been spent out here, but it was actually needed.
The city is facing a major deadline. Diamond Lakes hosts the World Military Softball Tournament the end of next month. More than 2,000 players, so the towers need to be ready.
I'm looking at maybe the last week in August or either the first or second week in September. We want to get these open for the big softball tournament.
That's good news for Diamond Lakes regulars who have spent months without the use of the restrooms.
For that big event, they're going to have them ready. But they should have been ready. They should have been ready, a long time ago.
It's been a long time, but the Diamond Lakes scoring towers appear to be getting back in the lineup. In Augusta, George Escala, WJBF News Channel 6.
The Richmond County School